Some sentences just don't sound right, even though they seem to have all the right words? Well, one of the key culprits could be a lack of subject-verb agreement. This may sound like a bit of grammar jargon, but it's actually quite straightforward. In English, the subject and verb of a sentence must agree in number. That means if your subject is singular, your verb should also be singular. And if your subject is plural, your verb should be plural too. Now, why is this crucial? It's simple. Subject-verb agreement enhances clarity in communication. It helps your listener or reader understand exactly what you're trying to convey. It removes ambiguity, avoids confusion, and keeps misunderstandings at bay. And in a world where effective communication is key, this is more important than ever. So it's clear that subject-verb agreement is not just a grammatical rule, it's an essential part of clear and effective communication. Now, let's delve into the concept of subject in English grammar. When we talk about the subject in a sentence, we're referring to the doer or the actor. It's the person, place, thing, or idea that's doing or being something in the sentence. For instance, in the sentence, "The cat sleeps on the couch," the cat is the subject because it's the one doing the action of sleeping. Subjects in English can be singular or plural. A singular subject refers to just one entity, like cat or apple. On the other hand, a plural subject refers to more than one entity, such as cats or apples. It's essential to understand this distinction because it affects how we use verbs, but more on that later. Now, a subject isn't always just one word, it can consist of several words. For example, in the sentence, "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog," the quick brown fox is the subject. Even though it's made up of 4 words, it acts as one unit performing the action of jumping. Let's look at another example. In the sentence, "My best friend and partner in crime is always up for an adventure," the subject is "my best friend and partner in crime." Here, even though the subject consists of a string of words, it refers to one person, hence, it's considered a singular subject. Understanding the subject is crucial because it's the anchor of your sentence. It sets the stage for what's happening, who's involved, and what action is taking place. It's the pivot around which the rest of your sentence revolves. And most importantly, the subject plays a significant role in subject-verb agreement in English. The form of the verb in a sentence depends on the subject. That's why it's so essential to identify the subject correctly. So as you can see, the subject is more than just a word in a sentence. It's a fundamental building block of English grammar, setting the tone for the rest of the sentence and determining how other parts of the sentence are used. Remember, identifying the subject correctly is the first step towards ensuring subject-verb agreement. Having understood the subject, let's now turn our attention to the other crucial element, the verb. A verb, in its simplest definition, expresses an action or a state of being. It's essentially the heart of the sentence, pumping life into our words by describing what the subject is doing or experiencing. But just like our hearts, verbs have their own rhythms, changing their form based on the subject and the tense. Let's talk about this verb-subject dance in a bit more detail. If we have a singular subject, the verb usually ends in s or es. For example, the cat runs or the dog barks. But if we have a plural subject, the verb loses the s. For example, the cats run or the dogs bark. Now the rhythm changes when we talk about tenses. In the present tense, our verb might dance to the beat of run or bark, but in the past tense, it could change to ran or barked. In the future, we add will before the verb, like will run or will bark. But not all verbs follow these rules. Some like to shake things up a bit. These are our irregular verbs. They change their form in unique ways. For instance, go becomes went in the past tense, not goed, or be becomes was or were, not beed. These are the rebels of the verb world, breaking the rules and keeping our language interesting. Why is all this important? Well, when we understand how verbs change their form, we can ensure they agree with the subject. This agreement is not just about grammar rules, it's about clarity, precision, and effective communication. So, whether you're writing an email, crafting a story, or simply chatting with friends, verbs play an essential role. They help us express our thoughts, share our experiences, and connect with others. Understanding verbs and their forms is key to mastering subject-verb agreement. With a good grasp of subjects and verbs, we are now ready to explore subject-verb agreement in detail. Subject-verb agreement is the backbone of any sentence. It's the rule that the subject of the sentence and the verb must agree in number. This means if the subject is singular, the verb must also be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb must be plural. Sounds simple, right? Let's take a look at some examples. The cat runs fast. Here, cat, a singular subject, is paired with runs, a singular verb. The cats run fast. In this sentence, cats, a plural subject, is paired with run, a plural verb. But of course, English wouldn't be English without exceptions to the rule. Some nouns look plural but are actually singular, like news, mathematics, measles. These nouns always take a singular verb. For example, the news is good. Then we have subjects joined by and. When two subjects are joined by and, they typically require a plural verb. The cat and the dog are friends. But what about when the subjects are joined by or nor? Well, the verb agrees with the subject closer to it. Neither the cats nor the dog is to blame. And what about those tricky indefinite pronouns like everyone, each, nobody? These are always singular, so everyone is excited for the party. Now let's put our understanding into practice. Try these sentences. The team of scientists are presenting their findings. A bag of apples costs $5. Neither the teacher nor the students are in the classroom. As you can see, subject-verb agreement can get a little complex, but don't worry. With these tips and some practice, you'll master it in no time. Mastering subject-verb agreement might seem challenging at first, but with practice, it becomes